You sit down with coffee. You open the textbook. You tell yourself today will be different. But 2 hours pass, and you've read the same page 4 times. You highlight sentences you don't understand. You check your phone. You scroll. You look back at the page. Nothing stuck. 8 hours planned. Maybe 20 minutes absorbed. You close the book and feel it again. That quiet shame. Not because you're lazy, but because you tried, and it still didn't work. You tell yourself you'll start again tomorrow, but tomorrow looks exactly like today. Same desk, same chair, same fog in your head. The problem was never the hours. It was never the material. It wasn't even focus. It was the way you were taught to think about learning. You were told that time equals progress, that 8 hours in means 8 hours of growth. But your brain doesn't work on a clock. It works on clarity. You don't need more hours. You need more signal. Less noise. Most people study by exposure. They read and hope something sticks. They rewrite notes in cleaner handwriting. Watch videos at 2x speed and call it efficiency. But the brain doesn't store information that way. It stores what it's forced to retrieve. When you passively read, your brain is comfortable. Comfort doesn't build memory, struggle does. So here's the shift. You stop reading to understand. You start reading to test. Every paragraph you finish, you close the book. You try to explain it out loud. No cheating, no peeking. If you can't, you don't move forward. You go back, and you try again. This is uncomfortable. That's the point. Because discomfort is the only language your brain respects. You don't need 8 hours of passive repetition. You need 2 hours of active failure. Failure that forces retrieval. Failure that builds the path. When you test yourself before you're ready, you create gaps. Your brain hates gaps. It will work to close them. That's learning. Not highlighting. Not summarizing. Not listening harder. Testing. Retrieving. Failing small and filling the cracks. The 8-hour students aren't learning more. They're comforting themselves more. They mistake time spent for progress made. You don't have that luxury anymore. You have 2 hours, maybe less, so you make them count. You study in short bursts, 25 minutes of pure retrieval. Then rest, then again. No distractions, no music with lyrics, no open tabs, just you and the material. And the question, can I explain this without looking? If the answer is no, you haven't learned it yet. And that's okay, because now you know where the gap is. Most people avoid the gap. They skip the hard question. They tell themselves they'll come back to it, but they never do. You're not most people anymore. You go into the gap. You sit in the confusion. You force the retrieval even when it hurts. And slowly, the fog lifts, not because you spent more time, but because you spent better time. This is not about motivation. Motivation is weather. It comes and goes. This is about structure. Structure you control. You decide what gets tested. You decide what gets repeated. You decide when to stop pretending and start retrieving. And over time, something shifts. You stop measuring your day in hours logged. You start measuring it in what you can recall. That's the only metric that matters. Not how long you sat there, but what you walked away with. 2 hours of deep retrieval will bury 8 hours of passive reading. Every single time. Because your brain doesn't care about your effort. It cares about what you made it do. And if you made it struggle, it will remember. If you let it coast, it will forget. So the question isn't how to study for 8 hours. The question is, are you brave enough to study for 2?